Hello everybody, my name is Notepad Anon, and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working a little bit more on Ojisan Demon Slayer Corporation, and I got a little bit of work done in the meantime. I cleaned some things up, added some more things. So what was actually added? So, if we scroll down here a little bit, I added some more, just notes that I thought were important. I should technically should change the font here, but I'm not. I might do that later. I added some notes like, what's a demon? A demon is just an agitated yokai. Can others see that? Sometimes. Effectively, demon hunters are trained to do it. Normal people aren't, but can see it if they maybe have the ability to. It's kind of like if you're born with it or you have to train your ass off to get it. Are there other organizations? Yes. Do I effectively use a hentai for it? Yes. Have people discovered my awful secret? Some of them. And I usually can call them degenerates if that's the case, because you are one. Don't worry. So, I did like two example ones, pretty much. There's the Kachigara School for Gifted Youth, Psychokinetic Children in Exorcism Practices, as well as the Imperial Japanese Navy had a sub-branch of maritime spirit hunters during the war. That's the point. You're not the only ones. However, you're the ones who've lasted the longest, and you're also the boomers of them all. You effectively have to radiate boomer powers to allow you to pretty much claim authority over all of them. What are demon hunters like? They're old men who've kind of given up everything to pursue this. They're wanderers. They are people who give up normal lives in pursuit of something else. Sometimes this is a little bit easier said than done, and sometimes you are recruited less of a, hey, you're recruiting because you want to join, and more recruited because you have to. Oh, man. People are making comments about China, saying China is correct. Why are people so stupid when it comes to Chinese-U.S. relations? So, effectively, as a demon hunter, most of the time you are kind of loners. You need to be. You're the kind of people who go out for 4-month business trips and nothing much comes out of it. You are the kind of people who have been fighting things and people are scared of you. You smell of death. You're the kind of person who walks in, everyone's kind of intimidated by you because you train your ass off to do these things. People, you take your shirt off, when you were in your 30s and you're a scarred nightmare. People are going to get scared of you. At worst, they think you're a Yakuza. At the best, they just think you're a hardened military guy. You're neither, usually. You're literally someone who kills ghosts for a living. Though some have families, but their nature is a secretive wander. What does Grandpa do for a living? Government worker, or tall tale being a monster hunter in the mountains. The unfortunate part is that many are alone. No wife, no kids, no family to speak of, just a man and a voice in his head. That was kind of one of the ideas I wanted to get across, is that you are most of the time alone. What's the relationship between demon hunters and spirits? Complicated. Effectively, the summarize this section is demon hunters and spirits kind of respect one another's boundaries, and each of them kind of pokes the other, trying to their best to see what they can get out of it. Because demons want more freedom to do what they want. Demon hunters want to make sure they are controlled without getting into any fights. So it's a push and pull. Like, the demons want a little bit of power, but the demon hunters can easily deal with them. The demon hunters don't want to get into a fight, and the spirits, don't really want to as well. So it's kind of this back and forth of, don't fuck with us, we don't fuck with you. Oh fuck, you're doing something wrong. Oh god, people are talking economics in my chat. Why are people talking economics? Why can't you talk about normal things like games? So, only other thing, I did change this around. The age, I got these two things to work. I also changed experience to training and kind of the buffered experience to volition. Volition, I thought that would be probably the best way to actually kind of display what it's about, as well as training being a little bit more about experience without kind of the baggage behind it. I also needed to put this in here. Instead of knowledge skills, my friends, me and my friends we debated on it. And local experiences tend to be the best word for it. Because I wanted to be about, what do you know? Let me say, in short, nothing is going to eat the dollar. I'm still not 100% on the volition amounts. Not really 100% at all. Mostly because, like, higher rolls, you're going to get a lot more out, like, bang for your buck than the lower ones. Let's see. These got kind of changed up. Most everything is pretty average. I did put in partner attributes. Partner attributes are exactly what I say. I kind of go over what a partner is, how partners operate. The entire idea is the Demon's Hunter partner is the only true companion as they grow older, the one who is personally invested in their safety, as when they die, so will the spirit they have bonded with. You're in this together. I wanted that to be a part of it. Oh, God. Good stuff. So, effectively, they only have... The big idea is they have their Tamashi, or soul, allowing them to directly influence the world and bestow it upon the demon hunter. Kind of depending on the spirit in question, their Tamashi is going to be different. So if we just do like a random yokai, just hit us with a random one. So let's we'll go to R. We will do actually let's go to T and we'll just select one. Here we go. Right here. A ceiling liquor. Dark homes, tall ceilings. What's their... older folklore, number of stories have been invented, such as one claims that samurai from Tabayashi Town ruins are present Gunma Prefecture. Clean all the spire roads and grounds and ceiling the castle. Stains list. Human starting too long to see when they appear above. You gotta clean madness and even death. So, if you for some reason have been, if you for some reason have joined forces, you have pretty much formed a bond with one of these guys. I think it's a Tenjiname. Effectively, you have a creature who has an absurdly long tongue and licks ceilings for fun. Now, when you may be wondering, well, what's your soul? What's your soul power? Well, the fact that you have an absurdly long tongue and the fact that they can freely, effectively manipulate it whenever the fuck they feel like, you get a lot of, you get a lot of options to do with. You also get things, it's older the house gets, the more dust and grime it collects in hard to clean places such as the ceiling. This attracts a tendiname, which licks dirty ceilings to feed on the filth. They're filth eaters. You are... Question, you always got an encyclopedia, any other shit to research settings? Sometimes. Sometimes I've learned, I've just picked up things over time. When it comes to things like this, I've picked up enough stuff over time to be dangerous. I Google shit. Like, I look at things if I have questions. And there's, like, I've had to look up enough things to, when it comes to this, to kind of look over and go over things with it. And, funnily enough, actually I should mention this, I kind of forgot that I already wrote these guys. I've already wrote this particular organization in one of my other games. Hence why actually the, where is it? The Nightly Rifle Show, pretty much the Ministry of Nightlife. The Ministry of Nightlife is technically already present in the world, and I have, unfortunately, or fortunately in some cases, effectively tied this in with the Omega Men. So pretty much, it's part of the same lore. And I won't say I'm perfect on it, because, like, there's a yokai for everything. I think that's, like, one of the things that's kind of hard to fully understand when it comes to, like, Japanese myths and stuff. Because the entire idea of Shintoism is very basically, if it exists, there's a spirit with it. That's why you get all the, like, you can find, like, weird urban myths, being like, oh no, if you go to the bathroom and say Hanukkah 4 times in a row and do a little spin, you'll summon a death god or whatever. Because you have this overwhelming religious connotation of everything in there is affected by a spirit of some sort. And the reason why these religions, why people form religions in general, is to explain things that normally are kind of difficult to explain. Hey, why is there lightning? Well, come on, it's Zeus. No shit. There's literally a giant man sitting on top of Mount Olympus shooting lightning bolts. What are you, stupid? Hey, why do I get these weird dark spots on my ceiling? Well, obviously, the only proper answer is that you have a Tenjinami visiting you. He is in your house, as we speak, licking your ceilings. That's it. You need to explain something that is normally unexplainable. Why do we suddenly lose things that are 100 years, like, why do we have a bad tendency of losing things that are hundreds of years old? Because they get up and walk away. Because they've turned into something else. And so on and so on. You can find this with a bunch of different religions throughout the entirety of human history, in one way or another. And I think people like to claim with this. And the yokai myths are actually very fascinating because they are still around, and technically new yokai always come about. If I were to look hard enough, there's probably a subway yokai somewhere. Actually, let's Google it. I'm like 95% sure there's this, or like a train or a subway yokai. Yeah, yokai train, and like, there's shit. Yeah, there's shit that people are like, well, obviously there's yokai on my train. Well, no fucking shit there is. Like, alright, these exist. Alright, someone died on the train. What do we do? Well, obviously there's a spirit there now. Like, Google Foo is only part of the experience. So, let's see. Pretty much, you got your ability, you've got your idea, and partners only have 2 attributes. They have control, which is affecting everyone who isn't alive or a spirit of some sort. You know, spirits with high control are a living poltergeist. They're able to affect the world. A spirit with high control is going to be able to grab an object and bring it to you. A spirit with high control can make a room freezing cold, or things like that. A spirit with high power can actually hit someone. They can actually affect people. And kind of depending on the spirit in question you've bonded with, these are going to change. Honestly, if you want to get an Oni, if you want to get a legit, big-ass, scary monster Oni as your partner, you're going to invest high into power. Not really control. It doesn't really give a shit. It's going to affect things, and it's going to grab things, and it's going to throw them at you. If it wants to. But power is, it's going to leap on an enemy spirit, and it's going to start trying to club it to death. That's the point. But they also start with 0 instead of 2. You spend 3 training. Ugh. Does me ever go bad or something? Yeah, an aftertaste. And finally, we have local experiences. Local experiences are, by their nature, things that the character knows about. So it's the way I want this to kind of pull out. It's, you know, local knowledge. We'll just say Nagasaki, because that's kind of like an idea. It's going to start out too. This is called like passive familiarity. Like, you kind of understand where the hell you are, and you can, like, find the bus routes kind of thing. But you may have, you know, Spirit, Oni, actually, what I should say is Nagasaki Oni. Nagasaki Oni 4. You know these guys pretty well. You're on a name-to-name basis with them kind of thing. But you might have organization, oh god, it's in my eye. Something is in my eye now. Let me just blink that away. Yeah, the Kamigari. You know, the Kamigari School for Gifted Children. Children, you might have a 7 with them. Why? Because you are literally probably a staff member there. You make sure these little fuckers don't try to blow something up. Like, you are indebted to them, or they are, you and them are in with one another. That's kind of how I wanted it to go. That reflecting the relationship between you, the character, as well as their prior knowledge. Because one thing I was having difficulty with is the character is old and wise. The player is stupid. You don't know. You're going to start this and I'm not going to expect you to like, oh, have you memorized literally the entire backstory lore and writing portion? No. I ain't going to do that to you. Because that's really boring. What I am going to do, though, this is the secret. What I am going to do is that I'm going to say, hey, what are your, what's your knowledge? What's your relationships? What do you know about your area? Every time, every single time. Give me one moment. So that is the goal, at least for today, is that we're going to get done with this section. My goal, the grand tier goal for today is I want to get done with all of these sections, and I want to start on the more action section. And I think I'm going to take my time a little bit more with Ojisan, just because it's kind of a weirder project, and I have a few ideas that I need to just explore a bit deeper with it. So I want to try some new things. So, representing a personal connection to the entity or group. So, Ojisan, actually, the Ojisans. Actually, that would be the Ojisans can have as many experiences as they wish, dictating who, what, and how deeply they feel they understand and know about them, and know about the particular group. So, one thing about this, too, is I get to go here, and I get to go up here. Yeah, there we go. I'll put this right here. So, spiritual entities. In Japan, the most common kinds of spirits. Spirits are as follows. The most common kinds of spirits are referred to. Actually, I should say referred to as yokai. These spiritual entities take the form of just about anything, as they are tied to concepts, objects, towns, and emotions. These yokai are plentiful in everywhere. Some may not. That's the ability to think, but each one. Some may not possess the ability to think like a person, or even speak. But each understands the power and influence, influence of the demon hunters. So, what we need to do is animals. Spiritual animals are by their nature connected to nature, or connected to the earth. These creatures are drawn from animals that dot Japan, as well as many others who find themselves inside of it. Animal yokai. Actually, I should say it's powerful animal yokai are able to change forms if need be, but often like to remain, but are tied to their animalistic instincts. They are old and wise. So we want to give a few examples of these, if I remember correctly. Not Amore. It's Amore. Where is it? and probably the most famous of them. Fox people who bring foxes who bring fortune and tricks to any. Nikomata, cats who ward away or attract evil spirits. And what's another good animal yokai? Let's see, we want. We want to do that. Urugami. Mm-hmm. Let's see, there's evidence. Oh, actually, loyal dogs who ward away misfortune for an individual family. Let's see. Feel free to I want to get these as an idea of you can bond with technically anything. If you want to literally bond with a kitsune, with the idea of yes, my fucking spirit animal is literally a sexy fox girl. You can say that. Is she going to be actually nice to anybody else? No. You don't have relationships because literally the demon inside of your head keeps yelling at you anytime you're around a woman. These things usually are loyal to you and you alone, and they have your best interests in mind, and usually don't like other people. Or at least they think they know what your best interests are. So yeah, here are, divine dogs. There we go. So if we go here, we need to go to watermelon monster. Yeah. God bless the watermelon monsters. Let's see. We need to. I believe it would be. Just to make sure. It's going to be fairies. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, fairies. Fairies. Not entirely native to Japan. Fairies are European pest spirits that infected Japan during the 1600s. These entities, while harmless, they do tend to be loud, annoying, and flock to powerful entities. They are, however, intelligent enough to be known. Often represented by random events in the woods, far from home. And then we're going to do, it would be like an ice, then we want to do an elemental fairy. Elemental fairies embodying a single element. These fairies embodying a single element, play tricks on others. Food fairies, food fairy, eating anything left out for too long and stealing sweets. And let's see, what would be another good, like, random ass fairy? House fairy. Small house spirits that protect anything they find interesting, as well as attracting entities. Fairies like to find things. You bind to a fairy, you are literally going to be you're going to be a bloodhound for magical shit. So, Oni. So, Oni yokai. Oni used to be ferocious. Ferocious tribal entities in ancient Japan, subjugated by the ancient Japanese people in a series of brutal wars. While they are still proud, Oni tends to keep to themselves in isolated villages, intermingling with their conquerors. True Oni are proud and noble creatures, often found drinking alcohol that could constitute as fuel for a car. Half Oni are fairly common as well. These powerfully, often not even knowing they are, until they experience true despair or anger. So we'll do tribal Oni. Tribal Oni, compose most true Oni in the countryside. They're mystic heritage. There's mystic heritage, and then we'll do city Oni. A mixture of Oni who drink their sorrows away at bars and pubs, getting into fights, and only occasionally devouring people when pissed. So we want to do Sukumogami. If I can actually pronounce this, Sukumogami. Here's a little Japanese lesson for you. Most Japanese romanji, pretty much romanized kanji, can be broken down in things such as this. This is technically you would have Technically, you'd have a kanji here, 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 and here. This would be in hiragana or katakana. However, since that's a lot of words, they usually tend to focus it down into a single hiragana, which is usually a lot smaller and only composed of one, but a lot more complex. People get a little bit messed up with Japanese for that reason, because technically you can have hiragana, katakana, hiragana, katakana, and then you can see how good I am. Hiragana, katakana, and kanji. That's the proper word. It gets messy sometimes, because it would be like if we here in like in English, yeah, I think this is a good way of kind of representing it. It'd be kind of like here in English if we had to write everything out and then we just shorten every word down to an easier to digest method. Great if you have really long Chinese, based on Chinese linguistics, because Chinese is fucked. Fun fact, kids. But a majority of the case is it's there to be helpful, and like, oh wow, we can't do this massive goddamn thing. That's why it's there. So there's your Japanese history, linguistic history lesson. So, Tsukumogami. When an object reaches 100 years old, it will transform and gain thought, turning into a Tsukomogami. Turning into a Tsukomogami. Turning into these things. Mogami. Tsukogami, let's call them that. Turning into allowing them to move, talk, interact, and scare others. If the object was well treated, it will be calm and collected. If it was mistreated, they may turn hostile or immediately become a demon. Risky but plentiful. And some examples of these. Let's try to find some. We'll just Google them. Ah, yes, how can I forget the monkey that sticks a hand up your ass anytime you're in the water? You know, those ones. So actually, let me see. It would be the parasol yokai, if I can remember. That's not it. Kasuko Kabe. Yeah, umbrella. Pretty much a Kase Obake. So we want to do a discarded parasol. That bounces where it needs to go. Let's get a list of these we want to do. Possessed futon. Yeah, no, these things can get a little bit weird. A possessed mirror that reflects what people wish to see. And let's see if we can find some other. The hell's a koto? The zither instrument. Ah, yes, of course. 66 mask. We have possessed mirror. Let's see. An annoying talking lantern. An annoying talking lantern that may be able to move. Sometimes, when it feels like it. And... okay, so we got all of these. That means we have one more and we have a Yurei. Yurei. Ghosts. Spiritual entities. Ghosts. Ghosts are spiritual entities that have no distinctive form. No distinctive form. Freely travel across the land. Freely travel in their domain, haunting those who have wronged them, or feeding upon emotions of others. Yurei can be easily dealt with. Yurei may develop a sense of self if time has passed, but many find themselves repeating loops. Let's see, but many find themselves repeating loops or being instinctually drawn to drawn to others. Some can be reasoned with. Others must be exorcised. Exorcism. Random yokai. What is a random yokai? Of course, when I don't need an animal yokai, you're going to give me like 50. Let's see. There we go. So the basket hag. Ah, yes, of course. How can we forget? Small magical mammals. Souls trees are animated. These souls wander outside of their hosts. Yeah, Human eating ghosts that prey on the lost and the desperate. There we go. So we're gonna get another lucky roll. No, we're gonna get more fucking melon monsters. Buddhist monk lord around empty mountain roads at night. Their name implied only appear during the night as rain is falling. Sembo. Sembo. Light rain monks. Buddhist monks appearing. Buddhist monks appearing on the road during light rain. Often asking for simple alms and not much else. You're gonna get lucky. Come on, baby, let's get lucky. Hi, Kappa. Everyone likes Kappa. Everyone clap. Well, I like Kappa. Hi, no, we don't. Not the uterus ghost. Oh no. Yeah, most yokai are kind of lame. Not gonna lie, most yokai kind of lame. Most of them just look kind of like, how do you justify something? And the answer is usually, not much. Or it's like, hey, here's some cool fucking animals, let's do it. Let's see. Kyohime, little Kyo. Oh, Gama, that's just a giant fucking toad. Have no fear, here's me and my giant toad powers. Like, okay, cool. He's a giant fucking toad. Here we go. Oh, wait a second. Can we do this one? Nope, we're not going to use that one. Little bit dramatic for what we're going with. There we go. How about Jami? Jami's. Wicked mountain spirits. Jami. Wicked spirits of the mountains. Preying on the innocent. Misdeeds. Yeah, there are a lot of yokai in case you haven't realized. Okay, there we go. We're going to add them all in. Actually, we want to spiritual entities. Heading 3, since we're heading 2, dictating spiritual entities. So we want to do that, and we want to increase it by 2. We want to do that, hit that button. Bum, 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 bum. 8 entities. Oni. Everyone likes Oni. Because the odd thing is, technically, Oni is just another word for, like, ogre slash... Pretty much ogre slash demon. Because, like, in, Kimetsu no Yaiba, pretty much, like, the big one. Demon Slayer, the manga, like, the highest, like, largest selling... Actually, not even largest selling. The anime slash manga that literally beat out the entire US comic industry by itself. Holy shit. Not actually that impressive because comics in the US suck. But it's... Oh, wait, there we go. But the main, like, thing is that they actually refer to their, like, oh no, their demons are technically referred to as Oni. Like, Oni come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. So actually we want to do... And then we have to do organizations. Organizations. There are many different... There are many different kinds of organizations that the characters... That the... Ojisans, and Ojisan Demon Hunters. Demon Hunters may come across. Their knowledge of them reflects both experience and the intensity of that relationship. Of those relationships. Often these are local institutions, or even the Ministry of or even the Ministry of Nightlife. Or even the Ministry of Nightlife. The Demon Hunters are expected to at least understand some of the locals and the organizations similar to their own. Pretty much, I want people to understand that there are more than just you out there. And I kind of detail them, and they're supposed to feel a little bit open-ended for these. Like, tell me what's going on there. Actually, what I should do is I'm going to put one more in, and this is going to be personal. The Ojisan, actually personal and city living. The Ojisans know people. Whether it's just having an ear to the ground, or they have a special relationship with the local police force. Or a special relationship with the local police force. Personal and city living care and city relationship experiences. Experiences shape how others view the Ojisan as a person. If there ever is a specific character, they are in here. So the Ojisan Demon Hunters can choose and increase any experience by 1 for 3 training. 1 for 3 training. Increasing, actually 1 for 3 training, but to reach level 7, they must spend 5. They must spend 5 training, representing their personal connection. So, what we need to do here, we need to paste this right here. We need to put these. So what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to make a side note. So I need to kind of explain this idea in general. So side note, an example set of experiences. Yeah, my F key sometimes doesn't work. So, our example character is going to be, let's do a random Japanese name. We want to just do male, and we'll do Funai Hideki. How about that? It's going to be Funai Hideki. Funai Hideki, and then we'll say he's going to be 74. And a general missing and general. And a citywide is going to be Funai Hideki. Hideki. Hideki has a close ear to the ground. Close ear to the ground for years, allowing him to pick up on information that others may not know about. Know about with the city he's in. So let's do a random Japanese city reel. Now, random Japanese city. Da 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 da. Ah, there we go. Imeji 5. Actually, we wanted it would be local knowledge. Local knowledge. Imeji 5. So he spent 3, 4, it would be 3, 6, 9. He spent 9 training. And then if we go back to this, we just need to do spirits, animals. He's going to have a 4. So he spent 3, 6, he spent 12 training. Spirits, Oni 3, he spent 9 training. And then Yurei, he's actually spent quite a bit. He spent a grand total of 7, so that'd be 3 times 6 would be 18, plus 5 would be 23 training. He spent actually a good amount of training with Yurei, but he knows all of these guys. And it would be the Himeji Ghost Hunter Society. Actually, it does, or it would be organization, the Himeji Ghost Hunters. Ghost Hunter Society, he has a 2 with. He doesn't know these guys terribly well. Organization, and he has the Himeji Ministry of Nightlife. 2, he has 6 training. But his big thing is that he knows what would be a good... That'd be a random... personal. He knows personal. He knows Michael. Actually, we wanted to do let me just remember. Imeji City. I go the library. It would be the what's the that would just be the Shinetsu. The Himeji Shiretsu Zonai Library. The Ghost, he has a pretty working relationship with her, and he's spent 3 times 5, 15 training on her. He's very good friends. So, Hideki. Deki has spent, let me see, it'd be 9 plus 12. Actually, probably want to reduce this down. I want to do 2, and we want to do 3 training. So this would be 10 training in total. Actually, no, this would be, increase it by 3, it'd be 6, 8, 6. 3 times 6 would be, no, 2 times 6 would be 12, plus 3 would be 15. So he has a total of, let's see, this would be 14, 20, 35, 39, 43, 53 is spent. 53 training. 53 training. Unlearning. On his previous experiences. This is in city. However, he now knows most everything about the ghosts of the city, and has a working relationship with Michael, a resident library ghost who knows just about everything located in the library, who knows just about everything about anything. So, effectively, what we've got over just this basic idea, we know this man is incredibly ghost-related. He has things that people aren't going to really think about. The fact that he has a completely deep relationship with, he has a tentative relationship with the Ghost Hunter Society. If something pops up, he's going to know about it. The fact that if he needs to ever really learn about something, he can go to Maiko. Maiko's going to tell him about it. The fact that he is actually incredibly indebted to the spirits, and the local ghosts in the area know him. They're gonna pop when he pops up. Everyone's like, "Hey, wait a second, it's Hideki! Hey, what's up? What's going on?" He can contact and he can talk to these guys easily, and he knows when things are going wrong. That's the big thing about experiences. This isn't necessarily like, "Oh, well, this is your personal relationship." No, this is your ability to know things and understand when things go wrong as well as things go right. But it won't last long. He's 74. He's spent, and if we go over to the, let's see, 74, he would be, he'd have 220. He's spent about I wouldn't say actually about a quarter of his points on this. But that's going to dry up soon, and this is going to be something he's going to want to get rid of. Maybe he starts falling out with people. Maybe he wants to trade out all that Oni right away. You need to get rid of him. He doesn't know him anymore. They don't know him anymore. He's gotten old. He knew him 30 years ago. Not now. And just kind of as these slowly start ticking away and be like, yeah, you used to kind of have a working relationship with them. Not much anymore. They've kind of let you do your own thing. And that's kind of the tragedy of it. Especially when you get things like this, as this slowly ticks down, as that relationship stops being important, as slowly, even she begins to kind of realize, like, you're not the same person as you were. It's like, I know. I've changed. And if you want to maintain that relationship, you should be able to. If you want to wait till the bitter end to even like reduce it by a point even, and the way you can interpret it is different. You may reduce the point of, say, the organization. Okay, actually, let's do the spirits of Yurei. You may reduce that point being the idea of like, well, I'm getting older, I'm not remembering as much, things are changing, and I'm not as in. But you can also kind of represent it as him getting older. He doesn't remember all the spirits' names anymore. He looks at them, he closes his eyes, he thinks for a minute, like, oh, you're this person. He's like, yeah, no. But every time it's going to take him a little bit longer. There's going to come one day where he doesn't remember someone's name. And they're going to look at him and like, oh no. Why? And it's going to take time, and he's going to have to think about it a little bit more. That's where the scary thing comes in. That it won't last. But you can make it last, but you're going to be taking issues elsewhere. They're going to... Actually, this will not last. So we want to do a table. And that's kind of the tragedy of the situation, is that it's going to slowly start dwindling away. And suddenly, you're going to wake up one day and realize your character doesn't remember something, doesn't remember his friends. And that's the sad part. Actually, we don't need to put table of contents in there. We just need to do that. We need to do insert. Local experiences. Cool. Personal and city living. That means we have to... And our next one is... Actually... I'm going to put Tall Tales and Sword Techniques together. They're going to be their own. And sword techniques. They're going to be kind of using the same idea with just different executions of them. So, the Ojisan then has lived a long life. They have stories. They have stories, and they have stories for days. Each one stories for days. Each one grand and impressive. Each one grand and impressive, demonstrating his skills and abilities in action. Are they real? Who knows? Who knows? The ones who can corroborate, who can back up the claims are either dead or barely remember their name. Demon hunters have lived a long life. They have trained with their blade. They've trained with their blade to the point of perfection, mastering ancient arts, and managing to craft their own sword techniques. Actually, we should solve sword arts. Sword arts are the purest expression of their abilities. Actually, their hunting ability, able to sever a ghost from its bindings, from its spiritual shell, slice an oni in half, and deliver a devastating and bone crunching blow to the unsuspecting. Tall tales and sword arts are lines written by the character, by the player, that the Ojisan Demon Slayer may invoke during times of crisis for a bonus. May invoke to gain a bonus. This bonus is doubling the dice or damage of a check, or actually is doubling this bonus. This bonus is doubling. The value of all the dice rolled of all the dice rolled for certain checks. For a check that is similar to their tail. Similar to their tail, or about their sword art. Their particular sword art. Sword arts themselves can be invoked during combat to double the damage dealt by the Ojisan Demon Hunter. Double the damage dealt by the Ojisan Demon Hunter. Each of these have a value of 1 to 3, representing the number of times it can be brought up. It can be brought up during a single episode. And we'll put a footnote. Effectively a session. Effectively a session. To purchase a tall tale. I had to purchase a tall tale or sword art with 1 rank. Costs 10 training. Increasing the rank by 1 costs an additional 5 training. All the Oji-sans. There we go. This is supposed to be, because if we put this here, this should round out the characters pretty well. With the idea of this is, instead of having skills or something similar to that, they have instead of having a strict set of skills, like, hey, I have a +3 to my computer skill, or I have a +2 to this. Instead of having a strict amount of that, you just have tall tales. Things about you that are cool. That have truly, summarized who you are. And are they real? Maybe. You don't really know. That's kind of the big thing. Is it real? Effectively a session or 2. Is it real? Well, you don't quite know. You think it might be, but it also may not be. And that's what really makes it interesting. However, the idea is, once you start removing those, it's you kind of forgetting it, or people kind of forgetting about you. It's, yeah, I cut an Oni in half. Back in my day, I tended to 100 ghosts. You forget about it slowly, reducing its rank by 1 by run, and then suddenly you get rid of it entirely. People stop believing you, or maybe you forget it. That's ultimately about what this game is, about losing yourself to time. That dragon time. So we've got character creation done. It is DONE. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up actions, how actions are really going to play out. And what we're going to do is episode formatting. Episode formatting. Ojisan, episode formatting. Ojisan Demon Slayer Corporation. Ojisan Demon Slayer is a game about cinema. It is a game about dramatic stories, and the conclusion of them. slowly whittling down the protagonists as their hubris age and will slowly chip away. We'll call it a full season of Ojisan Demon, actually, a campaign of Ojisan Demon Slayer Corporation. Corporation is split up. Is referred to as a season, representing the entire arc of stories and little adventures the group gets into like a television series. Each season is composed of various episodes and scenes inside of them. They do not possess. A season may have multiple episodes, may have as many or as few episodes as the director wishes. But the final episode will end on January 1st, 1991. An episode is composed of 3 types of scenes: story, investigation, and confrontation. Story scenes allow the Ojisans and non-player characters to interact and drive the plot forward. Whether it's about one of the characters undergoing a midlife. One of the characters trying to find his medication for the day. To one of them lying in bed at a hospital after a nasty battle. Story scenes drive forward character development and grand story beats. Investigation scenes have the Ojisans and co. The Ojisans investigating a disturbance. Yeah, I'm leaning pretty heavily into the cinematic thing because here's the funny thing. Now this is going to be a little rant from Notepad here. I actually looked around and I asked a lot of people, what is cinematic role-playing game? Because I keep seeing the term bandied around, and I have my opinions on it. I think cinematic role-playing, at the end of the day, usually is a way for people to, like, just say, here's a bunch of, like, really light mechanics, just do your own thing, Lamau. And it was funny, because the amount of times people were, it was this really divisive opinion. No one really had, like, a solid answer for me. And I was thinking, like, okay, someone's going to have an answer for me. But it was like, no, it's like, oh, well, you can't have a cinematic RPG because it's not filmed. Or, oh, you can't have this because it's not this. And it was actually really fascinating. So, what I'm going to try to do with Ojisan Demon Slayer Corporation is that I'm going to attempt to make a cinematic RPG. And I'm going to specifically try to invoke a very certain kind of genre, you could say. Is I'm going to invoke some movie tropes and some ideas behind that. Rather than rely on, like, here's a really simple system, we're just going to tell a story. The story is going to be in it. The themes are already baked in. Because to me, a good movie or a good show already has its themes. And it has its themes, and it has its ideas, and it has the characters inside of them exploring those ideas. Breaking Bad, for example. Breaking Bad is not about making meth. It's not. Breaking Bad is about a character who has nothing left to live for and his desperation to survive. And what happens when they pretty much fight tooth and nail to get it, and kind of as they go down this rabbit hole of desperation, of sadness, of pain. And it's about the people around them. It's about, Walter White is not really a character unless you have Jesse Pinkman. If you have Jesse, who has everything going for him, and he kind of takes him under his wing as kind of like the pseudo son, you have kind of this interesting relationship, all of a sudden. What do these two react with? The theme of Breaking Bad is ultimately what, does power corrupt? One. And what will people do in desperation? Because every character in that show is desperate in some way. Or they become desperate. And sometimes that desperation leads to other desperate things. And what happens when you get rid of it? Do you become a better person for it, or do you lapse back into it? Or one of my other favorite movies, I'm trying to think of the top of my head, like Leaving Las Vegas. Leaving Las Vegas is a beautiful movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. Nicolas Cage movie, came out in 2000? Early 90s? Was it 90s? It's going to bother me until we want to do Leaving Las Vegas. 95, yeah. Leaving Las Vegas, the entire movie is effectively one man's death march to his own demise. You immediately get the themes, you immediately get the ideas behind it, and the characters tell you exactly how it's going to end. And that's kind of the part I enjoyed about it. It's kind of like, what happens to it, and can he be saved? Can he not be saved? And how badly does it go down? The answer is it goes poorly. It goes excessively poorly. And I like that about it because it has some clear themes. No Country for Old Men, same thing. You can't outrun fate. You can't outrun destiny. And sometimes things aren't fair. Sometimes you can't have, no matter how well prepared you are, you can't deal with the fact that chaos reigns. And I think that's one thing about cinematic games people don't quite get. Now, what I want to explore a little bit more is I want us, like, a majority of the time, cinematic games are like, it's cinematic because it's fast and it's about story. Cinema exists, and good cinema exists to tell a story. I've been watching a lot about Kurosawa and his method to his madness. I love Rashomon. Rashomon's one of my favorite movies of all time. And you can watch it for free on YouTube, actually. In, glorious, 360p. It's great. But Rashomon's good, and Kurosawa in general is a really damn good director because he, uses character, and you understand each of the characters. Hell, Rashomon is literally all about, different interpretations of the same few characters. Is the bandit a good man, ultimately? A good, flawed man, trying his best to, being led astray by, a wily woman? Or is he this brutish, murdering thug who wants to kill him, who kills anyone in his path and wants to rape her? Or Is she at fault? Is she the problem because she, goaded these two on to kill one another and was going to take whoever won? It's kind of that idea. You can explore the same character multiple times, and that's kind of what I want to go with here. It's very Kurosawa in the idea of characters are going to get developed. You're going to understand the characters and the situation they are in, all leading to this inevitable conclusion. The overall theme of Ojisan Demon Slayer Corporation is time is not infinite, we're all going to die, and exploring that through the medium of you're leveling down, you're losing experience, you are slowly being whittled down. And every session you're going to get a little bit weaker. Instead of having a power curve go up, you're having a power curve go down. And you're going to have to kind of rely on that power early on, but you're also going to have to understand you're going to lose it. And do you want to lose it? Maybe not. And it's like, what happens to these characters? Hey, you're 3 months away from retirement. Do you really want... You lost a lot of shit. Do you really want to go on a one-man death crusade? Well, I said I would, so I am going to. I'm not qualified at all. So, investigation scenes have the Oji-sans investigating a disturbance with the spirits, or attempting to assist the Ministry of Nightlife. The Nightlife in one of their investigations. This section composes a majority of an average episode. As the demon hunters use their expertise, skills and abilities to find out what is causing the problems of the episode. The final kind of scene. The scene is a confrontation. The Ojisan Demon Hunters have cornered the spirit, or have cornered the demon, or lured them into a trap. Cornered the demon or suspected demon into a trap. Cornered the demon or suspected demon into a situation which they are able to engage in combat or deal with them. The confrontation is the climax. Of the episode. Allowing the Ojisan Demon Hunters to prove their worth. And hunt and restore peace. For now. Not every confrontation is going to be simple. Things can go wrong. Sometimes confrontations are simply against another person in an attempt to convince another person. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put this put episode formatting right here. And we want to make that heading 1. So, how we're going to break that... Oh god, someone's pinging me. Why are you the way that you are? So, pretty much what needs to be done here. Like, what are the main aspects of what needs to be done here? Well, first things first, we need to do combat. We need to do spiritual. We need to do spiritual combat. Pretty much, effectively, combat is I'm going to use my sword to stab you to death. Spiritual combat is I am going to desperately attempt to beat the shit out of you. You know, using, you know, kind of more spiritual means. That's how you exercise a ghost, for example. It's you exercising a ghost. It's you solving the magic problems. And then we're going to put in the... How do I want to word this? And then we want to put in injury and we want to do investigations. There we go. Yeah, we're going to put a little bit of an investigation mechanic in here. It's going to be not like super hardcore. It's not going to be like the entire game is going to be based around it. It's going to be more in the lines of ideas of like, you got to put things together sometimes, being like, okay, something's fishy here. Like, oh no, squad, let's do it. But in an appropriately dramatic way. Ugh. Because if it's not appropriately dramatic, what's the purpose? So let's see. Combat, spiritual combat, injury, investigations. Actually, I'm going to put in some drama sections. Why? Because drama is important in these kind of things. Yeah, it's power fantasy, but the idea is like, yeah, it's a power fantasy among people who are definitely getting too old for this shit. And I want to get that kind of across. It's like, everyone wants to have this dramatic plot of like, oh no, I'm corrupted by my nature. Oh no, and the main characters should feel like I don't really give a shit. Like I am too old for this. Stop it. Stop being a child and I'm going to now beat the crap out of you. So I don't really think I need much else. Like what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to do side never mind, I have to do derived attributes. Yeah, I have to do derived attributes. So, like, so I need to do derived attributes. I need to do episode formatting. Now I know what I forgot. I need to do heirloom. I need to do heirlooms. I don't know if I want to do that one yet. That's kind of a weird one. I might just say that's the sword arts. And finally, I need to do, we'll call it the level down. Actually, no. Ravages of time and effort. Pretty much every act, like how I wanted to do the quote advancement is every action committed is you're going to take quote experience. You're gonna get that. You're gonna get. I don't know how I want to call it. I might call it wear and tear, or I might call it. I don't know how I want to word it. But effectively, you're going to have to make up the difference. So you might say, okay, you've taken 10 ravages, effectively. You got to reduce things by 10 points. Now, the first things first, you're going to be like, all right, good news. Good news, I have, I have some volition. I'm going to reduce it by my volition. But let's say you run out of volition. Like you are completely out of volition, and you need to make up 10 points. It's going to be things like, well, I can reduce my attribute. I can reduce my, envision attribute by 3. That's going to let me knock off 3 of them. You know what? Well, now just say I think I can reduce my partner reduce partner. I can reduce my. Okay, I know we can reduce my partner's power attribute by 4, and that's going to be -4. And like, well, I guess I'm going to have to reduce my experience experiences by 1, which is going to be like a -2 or something. But the core idea, the nasty thing is, sometimes you're going to be paying more than you actually afford. As you see here, this 7, 8, 9, let's actually say, that's what we reduce experiences by 2 and get -4. 8, 11. I've reduced it by 11. You don't get that extra point back. You just lose it. You've made up the difference. Everything resets to 0. Have fun. Fuck you. It's more actions equal more wear and tear. However, more actions equal more results. So the optimal thing is to actually try to avoid doing much. You want to solve the problem before the problem really escalates. Because yeah, you can get into combat really easily, and you know what? You will probably win because you're that good. Like you are that fucking good at what you do. That's the point. But the problem is that you're going to be slowly getting whittled down. It's like, well, shit, I've lost power. I'm gonna have to make it up somewhere. But maybe trying to solve an issue directly isn't the best, is probably the easiest option. I could just slash this ghost in half, and I can do it. But can I really afford losing everything? Not really. You don't really want to lose that much. So it becomes it becomes a balancing game. How much are you willing to lose? How much are you willing to gain? What are you willing to sacrifice? And actually that reminds me, I need to put in here, which is going to be Ministry of Nightlife Creation. Because as like a temporary character, let's say a character is out of commission for a bit, or someone wants to join in for just a single session, or or someone dies, like someone actually goes down and is permanently retired, or it makes sense for them to retire. A player can take the role of a Ministry of Nightlife agent. They're pretty much designed, they're weaker than you, however, they don't have to deal with any of that shit. And what all of you will gain as, this wear and tear, they're gaining about half as much in experience points. They're actually improving their skills and abilities. They're learning things. They're gaining abilities, but they also don't have a partner. They don't have sword arts. They don't have tall tales. They pretty much just have their attributes and experiences. I might give them something else. They might get like literal skills, being like, yes, this is what I do. Like, this is my literal job. You can increase little skills every now and again, or little trainings or stuff. That's the point. You're not, but these aren't going to be the main characters. This isn't really the point. This is, well, Takechi died. Well, shit. Or like, hey, well, Takechi's in the hospital, but we need to do this. Takechi's player is now going to be playing a Ministry of Nightlife agent. He's going to be Agent Takamura, and Mr. Takamura is about 23 and a little bit too smart for his own good, and I kind of want to punch him in the face. What the hell? Alright. So, I think I'm going to call it there. Thank you all for watching. My name is Notepad Anon, and I will catch you all on Friday. Friday, we're going to see how much we can get done. My goal is, am I confident we're going to get done entirely with it on Friday? No, because I got really delayed on Monday. I kind of got delayed on Monday. I was not feeling good Monday. Even yesterday, I was like 95% out of it by just feeling like shit. I think I just ate something bad. So, thank you, and I will catch you all on Friday. I am away.